Welcome back to Shadows Over Loathing. We have made it to the center of Mudhenge, and now we've discovered some sort of weird ritual or something going on here, and I'm going to investigate that further. In the heart of the henge, 4 nude druids, that's fun to say, nude druid, flock around the altar in unchoreographed ritual. One look at you and they just absolutely lose it. Gnashing and wailing, it's clear that your presence here constitutes some kind of affront. You are not welcome here. Where you are welcome and where they'll put you is 6 feet under. I have no objection to nudism, but I will fight you. I don't want any trouble. An interloper. Henry, oh please do not kill him. You must. Do kill him. Oh, geez, calm down. I'm not looking if that's what you're worried about. Do you think you might be done soon? Why don't you kill him, Camilla? You won't find it any different to the deer. They've sacrificed a deer? Do you think you might be done soon? We'll eat him, won't we, Henry? And then we'll live forever, won't we, Henry? I think I am just going to fight them then if you're going to continue on with these threats. The bloodthirsty nudist intends to spew something strange at your party. They're all bloodthirsty nudists. Preparing to cast a devastating spell, intends to dance, decreasing your party's stats by 8 and dealing the same amount of damage. So just flopping it all around this old man here, and it's apparently gonna freak out the entire team. No, just stats plummeting on the other side of that. No one should be subjected to any such thing. No, thank ya. Chastened, the 4 nudists scatter, each to a separate corner of the earth. Wow, that's a long ways to go running. At last, the non-literal beating heart of Mudhenge. As you draw near, the needle on your compass spins wildly. Of course, it's as the guide outside told you. A compass placed upon this altar will point towards Secret West, where lies that thing your heart most desires. Which makes this place far, far superior to Stonehenge, where the most that'll happen to your compass is that a badger might eat it. Put the compass on the altar. There's the question, of course, of what exactly your heart does desire most. What are you hoping to find here in the endless gloom of this mudden henge? Meat, please, and lots of it. Honestly, just mud? I should have just said that. But I was told to ask for meat, so I'm glad in my instinct there when I clicked that, I didn't screw anything up. You were specifically supposed to ask for meat at this stage. The needle spins smoothly clockwise until it doesn't. Seized by queer magnetic force, the tremulous needle switches violently between the cardinal and ecclesiastical directions. It's a horrible, upsetting sight, and it feels like a mercy killing when, with a gasp of inexplicable breath, the needle falls still, its head pointing towards the north arch. Is the needle okay? What was this supposed to happen? Then that's where we're going. The west-north arch? Is that what it just described it as? Yeah, west-north, the far west one. That's how we were referring to it before, I believe. Well, this is quite another henge altogether. The mists of Mudhenge have parted and now stand before the great husk of an antebellum riverboat, grounded upon the swampy shore. The wreck of the longer fellow, instead of just Longfellow. The needle of your compass bends its neck to point urgently towards the boat's top deck. You don't know how a compass needle can contort itself like that, but it's very unpleasant to watch. Mudhenge must have brought you here for a purpose. There's meat here, and you're gonna find it. Forge ahead with great purpose. Forge ahead with low to moderate purpose. The logger flood, the north and east, maybe there's something. We've been dealing with directions a lot, so that could be. The wheel on this boat has run aground. Am I even on the map right now? The wrecked riverboat. Yeah, I'm in like a totally new location. That's cool. The boat is named for the younger brother of poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Then there was the longer. Under this thing that was possibly once a bookcase, you notice a crawdad has set up camp and gathered a horde of shiny pebbles in its and it is guarding them vigorously. A regular selfish shelf-ish shellfish. SH sounds are the ones I traditionally struggle the most with. She sells seashells by the seashore. 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 If I have to ever like speak publicly or something, I usually do tongue twisters ahead of time to like loosen your mouth up a little bit, and I have to do SH-based ones more than any other because I do trip up on them like crazy. People who watch my channel probably notice it quite a bit. I don't know what it is. I've always struggled with it. There's another one. There's another one about like saucy sharks. That's a good one for similarly like loosening things up. So a regular shelfish. It's a good one. It's tough. The once proud Riverboat has succumbed to those immutable twins of entropy, time, and mud. Mayhaps this debris fell from the wreck of the boat, but mayhaps not. You found the crusty roll. It's the good kind of crust, the expensive kind. One man's trash is another's crusty roll, to quote Shakespeare, if you believe he even wrote those plays. Yeah, we're gonna throw that conspiracy in there out of nowhere. It's fine for nature to reclaim the shipwreck. This plant doesn't have to look so happy about it. Fight for your right to make metal stuff. You don't tell me what to do, you little stinker. The Riverboat plant. It intends to spray the area with spores. I intend to whack it in the face with a spatula. Now there will be no more of nature's gloating over the death of a boat. And rightly so. It's missing the N and the E again. What glittering prize has lured these rubbernecking stink bugs and bees to this gloomy ruin? Holler at 'em. Beat it, bugs! Shoo shoo, shoo fly. All peaceful efforts have failed. Battle stations. Charge the bugs. I don't think these are anything new. That amount of poison applied is ridiculous. 12 poison, gonna die. Absolutely gonna die. Swarm of stink bugs, swarm of swampies. I think there was a part I would have found. Oh god, was that lightning? It like blinded me for a second. That was crazy. I think I've fought bug types before wandering around the swamp. I like relatively confident that that's come up. So I didn't inspect them that closely. The chastened bugs abandoned the trunk for new adventures. The swamp honey, a sticky glob of honey made from the pollen of fetid swamp flora, increases stench armor. Yeah, there was a little bit of thunder there, so yeah, there's a storm brewing. Good luck to all bugs. That's very generous. Now, what was it here that so intrigued those bugs? Meat. A little bit of meat, and, well, will you look at that? Nobody tells me what to look at. No, I will look at it. Only other thing in the trunk is a magazine about model trains. Those bugs got their little bite marks all over its pages. Funny, those creatures may look different, but they like a model train just the same as you. That's not what I like. Yes, something to think about the next time I play with my trains. I'll think on it long and hard. Their memory will live on in me. I don't know how long I'm going to wander along the Longfellow ship, so I figured I'd better come back now and check out the ladder. The rungs of a ladder are carved directly into the hull. Counting the rungs is an accurate means of determining the age of the boat. So I can climb up, so I'm going to continue wandering over this direction and see if I turn up anything else. There's the end. Coast around in search of some other beach? Sure, why not? Quite funny. Alright, so the last thing remaining for me to do then is to, indeed, come aboard. This is a mutiny against anyone who currently runs the ship. So, mutiny is probably the wrong word, since I've never been here before. Ouser, what were you saying there? The speaker, faulty, still broadcasts, but the transmission is unintelligible. Eel, it's a little, make it work. It's not that easy. The fuse inside the speaker casing has succumbed to swamp necrosis. It's a real issue for these wooden riverboats, especially when they crash into swamps. Luckily, I found a fuse just like super recently. I don't even know how many I have. I don't know if that's the only one, but I have at least one. You discard the necrotic fuse and swap in a new one. With the replacement fuse snug in its new bed, the transmission of which you had caught only garbled fragments now makes itself clear. And be that it, have ye finally fixed that infernal machine? Will ye nod once if ye can hear me? Yep, it's working, but yeah, I'll nod. You nod as directed. Praise be to the seas and the creatures in these. Fine work, landlubber. Do ye mind if I call you landlubber? Shake my head no. In disagreement, no? Ye don't want me to call you that? No, you don't. Is that double negative, or just you don't want me to call you that? Nod. Then landlubber it must be. I knew there was a no-win situation there, I think. But I don't even know why I'm opposed to it. I am a landlubber. I'm on land way more than anywhere else. If you lined me up on a list of land, sea, and air, land is clearly the one I love the most, but I still resisted the label. Till you can make the proper introductions. Speaking of which, this is Captain Dan of the Riverboat Longfellow, and it gives me no pleasure to report that mine vessel has run aground here in this fiendish and soggy fen I call Davy Swamp's Locker. We few survivors be trapped up in the wheelhouse. What happened here? Wandering about all this, are ye? Well, the Longfellow is a pleasure paddler. We paddle the east coast and show the passengers the time of their lives. This last sail, a sparkling black cloud, otherworldly it was, hurled us off course and into this violent bog. Pleasure paddle fast turned to pain paddle as our vessel were overrun by creatures and nasties. Only 5 souls in mine remain of the voyage, trapped up here in the wheelhouse for how long only the boat gods know. Explain you're hoping to find a lot of meat. I'll ask about the wheelhouse. You make the shapes of a wheel and a house with your hands and then shrug. I don't know. Know ye the parts of a boat, landlubber? 2 levels above ye be the main deck, and there you'll find the captain and his wheel. Not on a boat may be higher than the captain, except for like the lookout spot, and the mast, and the sails, and all that. How does he know where you are? You glance around for any sign. If you're wondering how I know you're aboard, landlubber, I have me bendy telescope to thank. What are the periscope? Not much for us to do trapped up in the wheelhouse, but hold the bendy telescope and look around through the bendy telescope. Explain that I was hoping to find a lot of meat here? Through mine, you indicate mime. You're expecting to find lots of meat. We got all these things that mean like money. I'm curious what meat would be like you're carving a steak or something. Is that how they indicate money through hand gestures? Never was one for charades, landlubber, but if I'm understanding ye correctly, the answer's no. A jellyfish will not have sex before marriage. Nothing for it, you'll have to press on. Or not, You could stop this all right now and go do something else. Grad school? Now that's an idea. Can I help? You mime the handing out of mail and packages. That's what you do, you're a helpful person. Ye didn't ask for it, I know, and ye must feel like the unluckiest landlubber in the world. But there be 5 innocent souls in the wheelhouse with me, blocked by broken pipes spewing scalding hot steam. Will ye help us? I'll give him a nod on that one. You solemnly commit yourself to the task. I ask that ye enter the most private of boat parts, the hull, where the wildlife has done defilement most foul to our steam pipes. Funny be it not that the same steam that gave life to this boat also took it from most of the passengers. I think we are only beginning to understand the nature and whims of steam, but that may be a mystery for another day. Not again. The code to the hull door be the birthday of the Longfellow, January 4th, 1845. Be there, but there be a catch. And I aren't talking about what we used to haul up for Friday lunch, crabs and such. We don't use standard or international date formats on the locks. Wouldn't be caught dead doing that. No, we use maritime basic. Year, month, day, month, day. Why would you repeat it like that? Why? Okay. Alright, let me make note of that with this pen that is barely working anymore. Year, month, day, month, day. I don't know if it's going to be the full year, 1845, or if it'll be like a little bit more flexible. Is it even going to make me do it, or will it autofill? I don't even know. What? You'll figure it out. I'll be sure. Well, I'm just going to get to it then. A sailor can dream of no greater horror than the smushed prow. Good for you knowing the directions of the ship. Starboard, port, I don't know any. I don't know which is which. I got some like hiccups going on. The refreshments cart can be scavenged of all nourishment save a paper menu, which you should not eat. No, it has been, not it could be. Browse the menu. A fine luncheon aboard the Riverboat Longfellow, Friday, June 3rd, 1927. The hors d'oeuvres. Saffron crab on cracker. It would be an expensive hors d'oeuvre. Soup. Crab on cracker. Eggs. Seasoned crab eggs. Fish. Crab under napkin. Poultry. Crab a la crab. Salad. Leaf dressed crab with salad. Dessert, of course. What am I saying? Crab cream and cheese crab cream. Excellent. Not even the distressed passengers of the doomed Longfellow resorted to it. I'll eat it, though. The wrecking of a ship exerts a dreadful psychological toil on all those poor souls trapped aboard, and none can understand their especial torment except by experiencing it. But you've come pretty close, you think, by wandering on board well after the fact and munching on a menu. Oh God, it's been harrowing all these minutes stranded aboard the Longfellow. True hell. The door is marked by a combination lock and the desperate scratches of a beast unable to operate the combination lock. How am I supposed to year, month, day? How the heck am I supposed to enter the year? Do I just enter the 5 part of it? I think what it probably means is year, and it was 1845, so probably 45. Then it was month, day. It was January 4th, so I think it would be 00 for the first part of the month and the first part of the day, then the second part of the month, and the second part of the day. That did it. Released from the door, the lock dissolves into swamp spores and floats away on the swamp breeze. Well, I got other things to look at in the meantime. A great wooden wheel in the final stage of wheel death. Upon its spokes, you can make out a message scrawled in blood or red mud. Dan, we're all broke upon thine wheels. Spelling? Questioning that at the very end. Wow, oh God, whoa there, that's hot enough to steam a car. You wouldn't steam a car, don't steam yourself. 20 hot armor? Wow, oh God, that's a ways off. I'm certain I have a few things I could equip that would make a difference on that one. Gives hot armor. I have a lot of XP left to spend, so I'm gonna immediately raise by 5, I believe. Oh, one more on that. I think it's fine. I think at this time, this deep into things, that I'm okay spending heaps of stuff. Heaps of experience. Elemental armor, hot. That is actually surprising. Oh, 5 for the clammy scarf. Easy does it, actually. Up I go. I'm steam proof. A confession, friend, rarely would I put me trust in a landlubber, but to come this far, you've proved ye have the heart of a sailor. Yes, I keep it in a jar. Once again, I can't hear you, friend, but I hope you weren't joking about keeping a heart of a sailor in a jar or something similar. Captain Dan likes to laugh as much as any shippy, but there's something no man nor beast should ever joke over, and that's sailor death. I think we can all agree on this. Not getting to joke about dead sailors is the highest form of censorship. Ha ha ha! You scoff performatively. Ha ha! at this insidious threat to free speech, but receive no response. But I'm afraid I must tell you that we have a new problem. Ye may have dealt with the steam pipes, but now we be locked in the wheelhouse, except you'll find the door key in the crow's nest. You know how crows be. You do know how crows be. Yeah, I've met a few crows, you nod knowingly. Now, please hurry, some of the passengers in here be getting hungry, and I don't mean for a nibble on the bendy telescope. I'm gonna go back down, because I feel like I was supposed to have resolved this first. This whole section might actually be kind of enormous. A large crate labeled inflatable water slide. There's a handwritten message scratched into the wood. Don't tell the guests about the water slide. I don't care if they're expecting the time of their lives. 5 hours of pain and suffering to put it together, and they only use it once. Below that, another message. We're gonna die on this boat. Oh god. That's a little intense. A lone needle governs this gauge, its machinations. Use the machine. The gauge has no controls and nothing that can be used. I'll just hit it then. Ah, there we go. Now we got it spinning. I'm gonna hit it again, try and fully break it. Oh. Maybe I have to try and time it so that it's pointing at the thing there? I mean, it looks like there's a little circle of a thing to point at. Ah, whatever, I'm gonna leave it alone for now. I'll close this guy up. They're minding their own bug's nest. Make trouble. Kind of like their business, their bee's nest, their bug's nest. I'm not sure. The pun could have been made more literal. I'm not sure how much I was meant to read into that one. The bugs bug out of being alive. Laundry facilities, including this hand-operated washing machine, are kept well below deck. Guests don't want to see how the sausage is washed. A tiara in a washing machine? Chaos truly did befall this voyage. The unglorious tiara, fit for a disgraced queen, and it adds 1 physical. It's not even good. This must have belonged to the ship's cabinet boy. A classic pair of deckhand pants. What a deckhand wears on their deck legs, you can't wear them because you have regular legs. Damn it. They count as pants, but they don't have stats? You wonder if somewhere there's a deckhand running around without their pants, but given the state of this boat, it is far more likely that they are dead. A note is taped up inside the cabinet. A sailor's Poisidos? But like Poseidon? Poseidoos and Poseidon'ts? Poseidoo, remember your date formats. Standard, local, radio, international, maritime plus, maritime minus, deckhand basic, and there's a second page, maritime humor. Yes, read maritime humor. What is the pirate's best part of the boat? The starboard. What is a sailor's favorite joke? Land. The Poseidoos. Okay, well, maybe I'm gonna need all of that, but I'm just gonna eat it instead. Eating the note is a big Poseidon. But could I still? For whatever reason, I'm very committed to that. Maybe I'll have to come back down there to deal with that stuff. Oh, that's fully moved out of the way now. I don't even have to worry about it anymore. In which case, I think I will replace my thing. What was I using? The earrings? I'm using the earrings now. It's a parent's nightmare. Captain Dan can be heard but not seen. What news? Point with frustration at the crow on the sun deck. Profoundly aggravated, you point in the direction of the giant crow unexpectedly blocking the stairs to the top deck. The crows have taken a longer fellow and made of her proud wooden bones their nest. 'Tis the fate that befell me own mother. I cannot help you now for the same reason I cannot help Mama. I am trapped in a boat's wheelhouse. Yeah, that's a pretty specific reason. Leaving an unattended bag on deck? Now, is that a Poseidoo or a Poseidon't? Poseidon't? Indeed it is. We'll make a sailor out of you yet, landlubber. Search the bag. You found a naval battery. Just a regular battery, it appears. I'm curious if there are other places for the do's and don'ts that I can now look around at. This dirty bag dishonors the deck. Nothing of value, only a scrap of handwritten letter. The rest of the paper has succumbed to swamp atrophy. But having said that, Martha, the boat has taken a sharp and sickening turn into a black and shivering tear in the sky itself, and I fear we are headed for land with unsafe speed. Grateful if you could call your father and rescue me from this impeding unpleasantness. I will get this letter away to you promptly. I am sure the swamps have mailboxes. 3 outhouses, all alike in dignity, i.e. below average. A note on the side of the structure says the standard combination doesn't work. Did Deckhand Pat lock these up again? So the standard combination. So I do need to review the different combination things. Why, it's an unopened bag, a blank canvas, a fresh sheet of snow, a beautiful morning, endless possibility. Oh, it's just a couple meat. Probably in some alternate universe the bag was filled with fabulous treasure. The handwritten sign on the barrel reads, Bosun C.C. David. A brackish soup burbles in the bottom of the barrel, the remains of David. Grim and foul-smelling. Take anything useful. There's little solid left in the liquidated bosun, but this crisp cap has kept its shape. 'Tis a cap doffed by a sailor to all manner of mermaids and mermen. Merman! Merman! Tucked in its brim is a soggy telegram, which slips from the hat into the goop. The telegram reads, Mr. H. Longfellow, Riverboat, company, stop. Hope you well, stop. Requesting permission to mutiny, stop. I'm way ahead of you on the mutinying. Captain ordering ship into storm, stop. Says passengers will love it, stop. Crew plans to mutiny anyway, just hope you not be mad with us, stop. So, the captain is maybe a bit of an idiot. is what I'm foremost taking from that. So, I think I need to go down here. I need to get the assortment of different things. I guess I can just take a screen of all of them just to know. But the deckhand basics, it was written by the deckhand, is day, year, month, day, year, month. Leave it. I mean, it's a ridiculous system. It's very funny. I also took a screenshot of it, assuming that I'm going to need it more than just this time here. But deckhand basic will have written it. Oh, you don't need to use an outhouse right now, which is fortunate, as the 2 unlocked doors contain no toilets but rat skeletons. The 3rd door is locked. I'll examine it, sure. You run your hand lightly across the roof and can make out a carpenter's mark, the initial VH. Either they stand for Valley Hardware or Versatile Hog. If you haven't met the Versatile Hog yet, you don't want any part of that. You don't want any part of it at all. Like a 2-legged spider, this lock has 6 spaces. 6 spaces, you have like 6 empty spots, spaces where legs would go. Man, I had to really run my head through that. So day, first part of the day is nothing. First part of the year, first part of the month, second part of the day, second part of the year, and second part of the month. The lock slips from the door, shattering upon the deck into 1,000 tiny pieces. Inside the stall is a ruined toilet, which is no surprise, but in the back of the door is something quite unexpected. A time portal. I was not prepared for that at all. I will check with the crow first. A beastly crow eyes you with avian bloodlust. Hello, sir. Oh, it's very rude. No, thank you. Oh my gosh. This area is enormous. You step from the outhouse into a beautiful day. The sky is blue and bright, the glistening deck freshly swabbed, and the passengers hale, hearty, and freshly swabbed. They're also swabbed. You exist in a moment of joy, a frozen tear on a warm cheek. Cool beans. Can I talk to these people? I've never met Mr. Longfellow. Perhaps he's too long to meet. Well, his brother, Longfellow, within reason. Longfellow, oh, no way. Pencil in hand, the passenger muses over his missive. Read what he's writing. It's a letter in progress. Sneak a peek. Oh, Martha, I was never fit to be a husband, so long as my mind was cursed to generate my great ideas. For example, if we twist the cow differently, might we produce not milk, but cheese? I must be free of our marriage if I am to pursue this notion. I trust this clears up why I dove out of the car so suddenly. This guy just decided if he squeezed a cow's teats differently, cheese would come out, and he jumped out of a car and ran away to make that happen. The man believes in his dream. If I don't see a whale on this cruise, I will simply throw up. Is this the guy who we found turned to goo in a barrel? Fine day for a crab lunch, eh? Well, it's... I hope you're not looking for anything else. It's crab everything, my dude. The crowd here is too excited about the stairs to let you through. Now, you guys, I have a much longer boat than this at home. You guys are real proud of all this, aren't you? Oh, the tiara. The crown sparkles like the well-brushed tooth of an ice troll. That's so specific. Speak with its owner. Fine cruise, sir. Who are you? Who am I? I am multitudes, sir. To one, I am one thing. To another, another. To some, I am a riverboat passenger. To others, a countess of the city of clocks. Nice crown. Tiara. Can I have the tiara? I am sure you can possess it, but I do not believe it can ever be had by anyone. Oh, well, where'd you get it? It was gifted to me by a scientist that sacrificed his heart for a city that had stopped breathing. Oh, what city is that? It is dead and buried. Let it remain thus. Well, sacrifice didn't count for much then. How much for the tiara? It has a price, yes, 100 meat. Cash? That's more straightforward than I expected. I do not tell you what I want. I tell you what the price is. Well, show her the ruined one. What do you make of this? She barely glances at the tarnished double of her glorious crown. I have looked upon my bones before, and I expect I shall again. Okay. Can I buy your tiara for 100? You got the glorious tiara. Mysticality, moxie, and physical armor. Shiny is the head that wears this crown. She abdicates the tiara without ceremony. This is a purchase by you of a city from its final countess. Neat. I will defend it with my life. But it's actually just a crown, right? She turns in silence to face the waves. Look, this boat is going to crash. Yes, I think you should not be here when it does. She has not looked at you once this whole time. A fine cruise to you. Goodbye. It's the Countess of the City of Clocks, sans crown. What a strange interaction. You don't hear the captain, only sea jazz. Whoa. The deckhand stands where the crow was, or rather will. Afraid there's no access to the promenade right now. The stewards are tastefully arranging lunch, and the slightest disturbance could throw off the tastefulness. I think the boat's gonna crash. What do you make of Captain Dan? Do you transform into a crow in the future? Hope not. Left my crow phase behind in my 20s, like any lad. What do you make of Captain Dan? Crapton Dan, that punk. The captain's disciplined, all right, and no mistake. I like to joke that Dan stands for disciplined and no mistake. Sure, man. That's a joke you like to make, sure. Correcto. I think the boat's gonna crash. Sea travel is perfectly safe, I assure you. Statistically, it's more dangerous to ride a motorcycle into the ocean. Well, yeah, I would recommend not doing that. Especially, in the future when motorcycles exist. Right now, it would be especially dangerous because you'd be messing with some temporal void of some kind. You must stop this boat. Stop the boat? The captain wouldn't hear of it. He took this charter to show all his guests the time of their lives, and that's just what he means to do. Except he refuses to set up the super fun slide just because it takes 5 hours. Well, goodbye. Good cruise to you. But a highly specific choice of greeting. Go back in? The dreadful crow perks right up as you exit through the outhouse. If that beak's good for one thing, it's sniffing out sparkling tiaras. With great agitation, he flaps his giant wings and leaps off the deck right at you. Like a king's sickly second cousin, he wants the crown, and he's going to take his shot. Throw the tiara through the time door. Throw the tiara overboard. Toss him the tiara. I'm just going to give it to him. You gift the tiara, soothed this giant's toddler's tantrum. Pleased and plump-bellied, he ate it. He waddles off to enjoy his elegance elsewhere. These stairs lead to the top deck where normally only those passengers who have lived a virtuous life can ascend. or going up to heaven. You always hear about the crow's nest on a boat, that and the crow's hole. Reach inside the crow's hole. A longer fellow ring. Oh my god, and the crow just like flopped his belly in there. A ring to promote in conjunction with regular exercise and a balanced diet, the longening of a fellow. Makes you longer? Did I actually just get taller? My mouth is kind of in line with that. I am going to still use the Mobius ring. Yeah, I think it did. It made me taller. It did actually make me taller. A maze of twisty little crow holes. You found a wheelhouse key, so I'm adding crows every time I do this. That makes sense. Kind of. It's a key, and it looks long enough to unlock the doors of the longer fellow. The bush and bramble of a crow's nest have claimed the boat's rear end. There's no way of knowing how far the crow hole is going. The crow bullion. Crow currency, still using the gold standard. Bless their hearts. While your government is fast moving to a fiat meat system. They can just sell it. A bar of gold engraved with the head of a stately crow. Crows use this for money. I don't want to fight any of you guys. A giant and ghoulish crow asserts unchallenged dominion over the boat's top deck. And he rules not through love but fear. For what is scarier than a crow? Me, I am. Bop him on the beak or shulk away to plot revolution in the shadows. I'll say me. What's that, a human outscare a crow? If you figure a way to do it, then let the rest of us know, would you? For you would be the first in the history of the world. Not actually a very high stat check. Flex your arms menacingly, turn your eyes terrifyingly, invent avian obscenities. This would be easy for me, but I don't feel like doing it right now. I'll turn my eyes. The crow pales like Dauphine at the guillotine and scurries as fast as its giant wings can flap. Allons! Another crow has made its home on the deck in response to your flagrant rummaging of the crow holes. Scare him to death. Okay, the stat check will increase. Okay, that's one crow scared off, but two? Not even an actual scarecrow could manage that. Tear an invisible encyclopedia in half, or honk a sound that makes all music sour. I will tear the encyclopedia. The crow's dark feathers run white, and with the last vestiges of his strength, he abandons the deck and communal nest. Hooray! This one looks pretty clever, but the first crow was the deepest. The first cut is the deepest. Shatter his bones, shatter his mind. Word of a tricksy crow frightener is spreading fast along the boat. Soon the myth itself will evolve into its own life and thoughts. Cellar door is the most beautiful phrase in the world. Say it backwards. Rude relic? Is that what I'm supposed to say? Or door cellar? I don't understand. The crow staggers overboard, grasping at his last scraps of sanity like a sudden tear in a bathing suit. This power of yours, it's one to be used responsibly. No, it's not. This crow is in a 5-way tie for the biggest bird you've ever seen. I will fright the bird. The whole swamp now is fertilized, and it hatches with mutterings of the man who gobbles up the courage of crows like so much country stew. So mythic is this figure, nobody would believe that you, immortal, is he, unless you show them. Open the third eye in your bicep. Actions, not words. Flex your tongue with malice. Let your eyes do the talking. Open your eye mouth. I'm going to use the third eye bicep. The first farmer to stick a scarecrow in his wheat fields was never really satisfied with his creation. Sure, it worked, but it didn't look like what he'd seen in his mind. The thing he saw those thousands of years ago was you, in this moment. You are the scarecrow. You have always been the scarecrow. Yes. Yes! But I don't want to be a scarecrow. That makes me think very much of Seinfeld. Where the voice came from there. That's probably not an intentional reference. It just happens to be what I associate it with. A mount for binoculars. Though, with the binoculars missing, the opportunities for sightseeing are minimal. Also, you're in a swamp. Look through the mount anyway. A few feet out of the riverboat's carcass, a frog is fighting with a heron with a whip. Rarely are you afforded such a close-up view of nature. There's a skeleton hiding in the apple barrel, bobbing along with a few apple skeletons. Like cores? Still can't see ya. 'Tis the wheelhouse, not the window house. I'm coming for ya. Your compass is going wild. The money must be inside. Crow has got the key. Well, I got the key now. I will unlock it. Click, clack. The wheelhouse key has come. Wheel home. Go inside. The captain is a robot. I didn't mean to walk up to him yet. The creaks reach your ears before the creaker your eyes. Suspended from the ceiling, this boxy thing, given motion, lurches left, right, and down, straining at the springs grafted to its back. There's no ship's captain, no passengers, no meat. This automation, this creature, is the only living thing in the wheelhouse. If you call that living. Who are you? A landlubber in me wheelhouse, 'tis the day most dreaded by every sailor, of worse fate even than a chomping by the chitinous beak of frightful Scylla. I can only guess that the boat's been on land, has imbued ye with extra powers, allowing ye to make it this far. You're Captain Dan? Honestly, it wasn't very difficult. Was I not supposed to rescue you from this wheelhouse? I'm afraid ye've been a passenger on me riverboat ruse. Weren't me that needed saving from the steam, the crows and the bugs, but ye that needed killing by them. So, what have you done, Dan? A machine I be, landlubber, made to follow instructions. Me instructions were to captain this riverboat and show all those aboard the time of their lives. The time of their lives, ye see? Time, meaning beginning, middle, and end. To fulfill me task, to its letters, I had no choice but to ram the riverboat into a monstrous swamp and terminate every living soul aboard. Right. Some questions. Water away. What is that phrase in place of instead of like land away, ask away? Like instead of fire, that's how we say fire away at the sea. He directly answered that for me. Any chance you've got a huge amount of meat stashed up here? Meat? Ha, I've no use for it. I wonder why Mudhenge sent me here then. Mudhenge? You be thinking of Stonehenge, landlubber? No, distinctly not. Why'd you have to try and kill me? I'm not a passenger. Aye, and ye be all right for a landlubber, har, only teasing, but me instructions require me to show all aboard the time of their life, so once ye boarded the craft, ye became me responsibility. Really, I'd say your quibble is with the writers of me instructions and not with me. So you'll just kill everyone who comes aboard this boat? Can't promise it, but yar, I'll give it the old college try. Old water college, that is. I thought it wasn't quite nautical enough. I'm starting to doubt your command of nautical knowledge. Doubt me command, do ye? Mutinous talk. Shut your land lips. I love this. The whole entire thing is amazing. Your logic is a little strained. Near whispering land lies, lad. What ye believe to be faulty reasoning is mere misfires in your rotting brain. To me, a perfectly correct creature of logic and a model sailor to boot, what I've done as captain be not just logical, but very, very good and smart. You know, you've misinterpreted time of your life. Misinterpret? The only miss I know, landlubber, is that powerful mistress we sailors call the ocean. I be a sailor, ye know. Yes, I know. If you were a sailor, you'd know your Pasaya do's and Pasaya don'ts. Aye, what of it? I hardly need a lecture on my Pasaya do's from a land leech. Killing your passengers and crew is to me a big Pasaya don't. Captain Dan dangles uncomfortably from the rod grafts. Even I, a landlubber, know that. Did you think about that? Captain Dan's wooden noggin starts to spin like an owl on a merry-go-round. Do you know less about the sea than a landlubber? You're a failure as a sailor? No, that's the first one. Captain Dan's limbs spin and spin, threatening to overheat, until instead he whimpers into non-existence. He feared you the most, Grammy, and always did. For all his faults and logic, he fancied himself a sailor to his wooden bones. And it is a tenet of nautical prophecy that the only thing that can kill a sailor is a man from the land. It wasn't a lie, though. The bendy telescope was real. Your enemies will never see it coming, getting knocked on a noggin with a bendy telescope, not even if they had access to their own bendy telescope. You leave Dan shattered in wormwood food. his anchor lain in automaton hell. No longer shall he menace land or sea, and this little patch of swampland is safe once again, if not especially desirable to visit or live. Good riddance. I hope you had the time of your life. I wasn't expecting a Green Day reference. That's phenomenal. The sea captain can only survive so long on land. Your compass needle oscillates violently in the presence of this console. Turn off the console. Just like that, the needle reverts to its normal function, pointing west. So, there never was any meat here, just some electrical interference confusing your compass. This would never happen at Stonehenge. The wheel's made of plastic. The boat must have been controlled by Captain Dan's central wooden nervous system. Take the wheel. You assume you mean to take it with you, not take control of the ship. The traditional wooden ship's wheel in a non-traditional location, your pocket. The ship's radio still broadcasts, though only to an empty and derelict riverboat. Swear into the microphone. Despite the radio's limited broadcasting area, the filthy and unprintable words from your mouth blast a horrible smell across the country. Balls! And at this exact moment, many miles away, a creature's eyes snap open for the first time. The Federal Radio Commission has been born. They just all at once were like, no, you can't, banned, never again, can't allow you to be saying these awful, horrid things. Oh, look at it with the bendy telescope. Dan wasn't lying about one thing. You really can see a whole lot with the aid of a bendy telescope, including from this angle what looks like a disturbed plank under one of the chairs on the main deck. Ooh, look closer at the strange marks on the tiny table's surface. Faint impressions of words are left in the wood, as if someone wrote a letter at this table without first putting something beneath the paper, which is very rude to do if the table's not yours. And though the new and very serious captain has not even met us yet, he has already made a big stink about having one beer while we were on charter. I have half a mind to just jump ship and take this little table with me, because I own it. And so it is fine for me to write here without anything between the paper and the surface. Oh, thank goodness. I was going to lose sleep over that. That's, just a strong relief. It mentioned something under the table on the main deck. Am I too high? Am I not on the main deck? The main deck, and then there was the basement. All right, so underneath this, maybe the refreshments cart, chairs. Oh, maybe it said under a chair. So I might be here. The plank beneath the chair looks fine up close, but much is revealed through the contours of a bendy telescope. Dislodged. One of the passengers must have stashed this away for their family or you. You cannot rule out that they left this here for you. 131 meat, really, truly, not much at all. For all of that, it amounted to about as little as it possibly could have. I intend to make this point as west as I can. It really is just spinning freely. I don't think it matters. Wow. That I'm choosing to just leave that episode to play out extra long because I might as well, I think. Although I do believe this led into one specific thing that I will now follow up on. Gabby, you want to talk? It's the B&Zs. Oh, right. This is just because I disappeared again and have not been where I was expected to be. So, nothing new to follow up on there at the time. I'm going to take Molly back with me again. And I have somewhere once more that I would like to visit. Not here, wrong. The Securibus Building and Loan. Now that I've done all that... Plunkett Street. Search the register. I thought I had the impression from something that someone had said that there was still the possibility to come back and do something there, and that I could do it after dealing with the whole Mudhenge thing, but I'm questioning that quite thoroughly. I'm just going to immediately start editing these. I'll be uploading them. I believe I've gone back and done as much individual things as I feel, I don't know, comfortable doing, up to doing. It's been a very thorough playthrough. Hopefully everyone can appreciate that even if I missed a small handful of things, my goal was never 100%. It was just to take my time and enjoy it all. Soak it all up. Appreciate all the gags and details and craziness that this game had to offer. And I do feel that I've at least achieved that. I do assume the wheel is something that will get added to my bedroom, actually. So I'm going to pop back over here to check on that. Yes. It is the bow of your room. The bow. The yeah. Steering wheel, turn it. Yikes. Probably better to keep going straight. Did I cause anything? Is it, Jessica, are you worried about what I just did there? No concern. So, extra long episode. I believe next time I pick the game up will probably be the last again. Unless there's like hours left at hand here. I'll probably do one more long episode, do the final battles, close things up, all that jazz. It's going to be a great time. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me through all of this. Pitch me some episode titles once again, and I hope to see you again soon.